Excellent.
You went on bourbon.
I'm out of bourbon.
Would you like some more?
Of course.
So you're enjoying it then?
Yes, it's a lovely supplement to my normal
It's quite tasty.
drinking repertoire.
And you're double fisting with beer too.
I'm doing my best. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Awesome Hardware. You're watching Side B, the second half of episode number 35. It is October 20th, 2015, and if you missed the first half of the show, well, you should watch it, unless you're watching live. If you're watching live, hello, thanks for being here.
Yes.
You're great people. But if you're watching it in the future, you can go over to Kyle's channel on YouTube, and you can watch the first half of the show, and that will explain many things to you. Lots of the
or we'll create more questions.
Or create just as many questions as we answer. Anyway, that's on Kyle's channel, which is Awesome Sauce Network. My channel is Paul's Hardware. Thanks to you guys for joining us today. We do this show every Tuesday. We broadcast it live to twitch.tv/awesomehardware, 5:30 p.m. in the evening. That's Pacific time is when you can watch it. So if you want to watch us live and hang out and all that kind of good stuff, then definitely endeavor to join us.
Don't.
Or don't. Kyle is providing alternatives to every possible option that we might provide you.
Choice is
here.
power.
All right. We're going to start off here with a few announcements and some shout-outs. Now,
yes.
Oh, you know what I totally forgot to do? Was bring up Josh's...
yes.
I should do that.
He did send me a high-resolution photo of the majestic painting that
Really?
he just had done, but I didn't have time to actually post it and share it.
Copy link to tweet.
But this one's just as good.
It is just good. All right. Fractal Josh, who you guys might be familiar with, just before the show did a live stream. He had Kimberly Shultz. You can see her Twitter handle right there. He commissioned a painting by her of himself on a unicorn with rainbows shooting out of the horn, and he's holding it to Fine R5.
Blow up the chat. Right, if you're watching this live, blow up the chat with your best caption.
Yeah.
For this
We
photo.
need captions
contest.
for this
Mini
photo.
caption contest. Go.
There's some great detail. I like his look of like casual disdain that he kind of has in there. It's just like, this is what I do. I'm just Josh, and I ride a
It's like it's just like any other day.
Yeah.
And I love the light peeking through the clouds behind him.
No, it's epic.
It's
an epic thing. So Fractal Josh on Twitter, if you guys want to look at that.
You can tell
or
Hairworks is
respond to
turned
him
on.
or anything. He's got Hairworks in there. All right. In the meantime, if you want a shirt that doesn't have that on it, I imagine that will be made into a shirt at some point.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, if you want to buy a shirt from Kyle's store, it's awesomesaucenetwork.com/store. He has lots of fabulous designs, as you can see here. We have an ongoing sweater sale, so Kyle only has one sweater left. That's this one. If you want to buy sweaters, they're $10 off. My store is over here at store.paulshardware.net, and I also have the sweaters for $30. I also have the thumbscrew shirts, like the one I'm wearing today. And then I also have mugs and glasses, some glassware. So if you want a nice mug or a 20-ounce Imperial pint glass, you can buy them at store.paulshardware.net.
Imperial.
And that's a great way.
What if you're a Team Rebel?
I don't know. I called it an English pint there. It's not an English pint. I don't know. It's hard to
classify glasses these days.
You know, you try to just be an ignorant American and say things that maybe aren't true and just go with it, and people call you out on it. I don't know what the deal is.
It's a cup. You put.
It's just a cup. It's just a cup.
You drink that.
Okay. Do we have other announcements?
Yes,
we do.
Johnson's.
We got some Johnson's.
We
All
owe
right.
some people some Johnson's.
So, guys, if you happen to purchase goods from both of our stores at the same time, they will get shipped to you together in the same box, and you will get a refund for some of the shipping costs, depending where you live. It's usually about $5 total you'll get back. But also, Cal and I have been trying to give shout-outs, at least to the people who buy stuff while we are broadcasting. So I have a Johnson to go out to Matthew. Matthew.
Hey.
Big old Johnson for you, sir.
Nice.
Indeed.
Oh, I got another Matthew. Double Johnson.
All right, double Johnson for Matthew.
Double Johnson.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. You get 2 Johnsons.
That was triple. Anyone else?
Okay.
Anyone else you get?
Nope, that's all for me.
I just got one more that rolled in just 5 seconds ago from Rudolph.
Ah, Rudolph.
Thank you, sir.
Run, Rudolph.
Johnson, my man.
Okay. Anyway, so
thank you.
That's all. We caught up on the Johnsons.
Oh, he got a hoodie.
Oh, he got a hoodie.
Nice.
Very nice.
Thank
One
you,
of
sir.
The Awesome Sauce battery hoodies.
You'll love it. Guaranteed.
All right, this isn't an announcement, but this came across my desk, across the Twitter desk earlier this week.
Aw.
The glorious PC. This is the Eazy-E Machine by Ace Vanquish. He just posted this picture.
Eazy-E Machine.
Going for a drive with the bay, right? With the computer strapped in there. But look at the comment. The comments afterwards are just awesome, right? So it's Eazy-E, right? Boys in the Hood.
Right.
Can we? I wanted to have the
you want to go back and forth?
Cruising down the street with my X6 foe.
Jocking the peasants, clocking the dough.
Went to the steam to get the scoop.
Knuckleheads out there playing 98 hoops.
A car pulls up. Who can it be?
A fresh shovel, picador rolling new LG.
He rolls down his window and he starts to say,
It's all about playing that GTA.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. The Cheval Picador, by the way, is one of the cars in Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
It's like the
right.
It's like an El Camino.
I really hope all those people who commented are different, and it's not just
I don't know. They're all blocked
out.
out. So anyway,
that'd be cool.
That's pretty fun.
That's brilliant.
All right, so let's kick off my half of the show. We have news. We usually end the first half and begin the second half with good old tech news. So let me pull up my stuff so I know what I'm talking about here. All right, so let's start out with some info on Zen. We've been trying to keep you guys updated with AMD's upcoming new line of processors based on this new architecture. The new architecture is codenamed Zen. This is an OC3D.net article claiming that AMD Zen and their K12 CPU designs, which actually are ARM-based CPUs for servers, have taped out, which is a significant point along the development pipeline when you're making a processor.
Okay.
It basically means that the architecture itself is finalized. Yeah. So the funny thing here is like where this information comes from, which is actually a LinkedIn profile of an AMD employee. So the AMD employee was very keen to update their LinkedIn profile right away when this happened.
Interesting.
Who knows if that means they were like actively searching for new jobs or anything like that. I hope that's not why they did it. But they updated their LinkedIn profile and put stuff like
Jim Keller's profile.
It wasn't Jim Keller's profile, but wait, where did it go? 5+ years of digital design experience and high-performance x86 ARM and CPU cores, spanning microarchitecture, RTL methodology, and physical design from concept to tape-out. Successfully designed and taped out various x86 ARM cores, including Piledriver, Excavator, Zen, and K12. Piledriver and Excavator are the microarchitectures that are currently in AMD processors if you buy them right now. Physical design experience across different technologies ranging from 32nm, 28nm to 16/14nm FinFET designs. So there's some important details in some of these points on this LinkedIn profile. One is that based on based on those manufacturing processes, these must be based on the new FinFET process nodes. They mentioned 16nm and 14nm FinFET, which suggests that AMD will be using both TSMC and GlobalFoundries fabs because they're both working on different process nodes right now.
Okay.
Also, the Zen architecture, just generally speaking, is said to have at least a 40% gain in performance compared to AMD's existing Excavator CPU cores, which it needs at the very least.
Yeah.
And then also some recent rumors from AMD claim that they're doubling both the number of decoder units, ALUs, and floating point units in each core of a Zen CPU when compared to AMD Bulldozer-based designs. And just to give you a high level, that would basically put them on par with Intel's current designs when it comes to those specific elements and how many of them there are per core. The Zen architecture will be launched in CPUs. It will be on the AM4 platform, so a new socket. It'll use DDR4. And then AMD's K12 CPU, which is the second part of this article, is scheduled to release in early 2017, and it's aiming to make ARM a more viable server platform, which makes sense because you can put lots of them together. You can do many cores, and ARM just from the get-go has been very power efficient.
True.
Which you want if you're doing a server.
Nice.
Okay, a little bit of Zen news there for you guys. Let's move on to this guy. This is a Canadian inventor, and this is another one that popped up on my Twitter feed earlier this week. And he has this is a test that he ran of a new prototype record-setting hoverboard.
And we were just talking about Back to the Future.
We were just talking about. There's some Back to the Future tie-ins today. So this whole video, which you guys might be able to barely hear, this whole video is very long. This is CBC News. This article. I'm going to jump ahead to the point in the video where I've put a note that this is where it starts. So this is a crazy hoverboard. So it's like a drone. It's like uses drone helicopter thingies. I'm using all the wrong terminology here around the edges.
Propellers?
Propellers, yes. Helicopter thingies. But then he stands on it. So this is his first attempt going out over the water. And you can see just like how he's moving across here. But this one, there was a system failure. The right side just kind of collapsed. So he kind of took a tumble there. Brutal. But not to be daunted, he went back to the drawing board.
So what kind of record did he set?
It was the longest hoverboard flight. So here's him taking off. And just cruising around the lake, like this is what I do all the time. I just stand on this thing and it floats.
Like he's riding a bike.
Like 4 or 5 meters above the water. And look how stable it is. I mean, granted, the one before this, he fell, but
you also have to imagine that he's got the learning curve down. Like, I doubt like you or I could just jump on that thing and be like, we're good to go. It's probably such a different experience that you probably got to get used to it.
Also, advancements in just drone technology in general for like self-balancing stuff and that kind of thing, all is things that he's had integrated here.
Do you know if he was controlling it just then by leaning, or
I think he controls it.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, because he's got a wire with the thing up in his hand that I think he uses.
So what was the record like? How long was he in the air for or hovering for?
So the
275 meters.
Yeah,
wow.
that was the record.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad.
5 meters above a lake for a distance of 275.9 meters.
Less than a minute and a half.
Actually, no. This is not. So let me clarify here. That is his old record that he broke, and this didn't mention specifically the new record, what it was.
I see.
But in May, this guy, whose name is Catalin Alexandru Duru. Alex, we'll call him Alex. So Alex May broke the world record for the longest hoverboard flight. So this was a few months back. That was 5 meters above the lake for a distance of 275.9 meters, and it lasted 1.5 minutes. This article is about him breaking that record.
I see.
But they don't say those numbers, so I'm sorry I don't have that directly for you guys. But
still impressive.
This is a prototype that he's working on with his company, which is called Omni Hoverboards, and it's a secret next generation version. And from what I understand, this video that we're watching is him re-breaking that record. But again, they don't really say specifically what it is. But pretty badass freaking hoverboard.
I want one.
I want one too.
Dear Santa.
Okay.
Cool.
Anyway. All right.
People are saying that there's a train coming through their house again.
Yeah, there was a train. Sorry about that. We've improved our audio situation with these lovely monoprice microphones.
So you can hear the train.
So now you can get that surround sound thing when a train rolls through. Okay. Here is a USB flash drive that can fry your computer.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, this one's kind of fun.
This should have been on Oh Joy.
Some Ars Technica. Yeah, I could have done an Oh Joy segment this week, but I didn't. All right, so this is a researcher who goes by the name Dark Purple, which must mean he's a Prince fan or something. I don't know. But he's developed this USB killer flash drive. This is actually a secondary version of this. One of these has already existed. This one's just more badass and kills your computer even more. So there's him plugging it into a system. Yeah, so within seconds of being plugged in, the USB stick delivers a negative 220 volt electric surge to the USB port.
Wow.
The earlier and less powerful version of this that he did, I think, last year, it would draw power from the USB port using a DC to DC converter until it reached negative 100 volts, and then it would discharge that to the system, causing permanent damage to the hardware inside. This one goes up to negative 220 volts. And then this process runs on a loop until the rest of the circuitry in the computer fails. So they're assuming based on that information that this second version, the more badass one he made, it works kind of based on the same principles.
Best April Fool's gift ever.
Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious. Look, you need a
USB 3 32 gig. Here you go. Just
just
fire it up.
Just pop it in there.
Boom. Bam.
So what practical purpose could this serve, or is this just purely to like really piss someone off? Like, because I mean, someone's sitting at their laptop, at a Starbucks. You just like walk by, pop it in, and like their $1,200 MacBook Pro or whatever is just or something like that. I mean,
you could do it so quick without even them like knowing what was happening. Yeah. Like you could literally just start to be like, excuse me, there's something right here, and just plug it in, and it's completely toast.
Yes.
Although, you could also just pick up their laptop and smash it on the floor.
You could. That'd be less subtle.
True.
You plug it, hey, check out the video I have on this USB drive. Oh, what's wrong with your laptop? It totally killed my USB drive.
I gotta go.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they do like SSDs that self-destruct and that kind of thing. If you can enter a kill command if you're if the feds are raiding you or whatever.
Yeah.
This seems like I don't know, a booby-trapped USB drive.
It seems like someone mentioned, and this is a good point. I was thinking this too. Spies would use this, or U.S. military. Like, could be a military type thing. Like let's say someone's about to. You have really important files on your system. And you just they're backed up somewhere.
But that's part of the article too. Is it saying that this will likely deliver like enough voltage to kill like the port? It'll probably permanently damage the like motherboard in there. But there's a very good chance it's not the damage isn't going to spread far enough.
I see.
To damage like your drives.
Oh well, then this is just totally a troll device.
Yeah.
For someone you hate.
Yeah, and I guess just another reason to totally be afraid of USB flash drives.
Yeah.
Like,
no, thank you.
Like Steve has taught me to do. It's like I go to like trade shows with Steve, and you get USB flash drives like candy at trade shows. People are like, oh, our press deck is on here. It's got all the pictures of the thing, and it also happens to be a 64 gig USB 3.0 drive. Oh, thanks. And I get them and be like, oh, sweet, like I've got these now. And Steve's like, you plug that in? I'm like, yes. It's USB drive, and he doesn't trust it, and he's probably right to some degree. I mean, bad USB and all that kind of crap.
It's like having unprotected sex.
Yeah, kind of is. Anyway,
never show Steve that article that we just talked about.
I might have already tweeted it to him earlier.
Oh God!
All right, here's one more news article. This is from Rock Paper Shotgun. GTA 5. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show.
Yes.
A pretty cool Back to the Future GTA 5 video on Kyle's half. There's a new update for GTA 5. I believe this just went out today. 1.6 gig update, in case you're wondering what the size is. This is their Lowriders update.
Lowriders?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Lowriders update, yep.
Like cars and stuff.
Yes, Lowriders are
Look at all those things it's rated mature for.
Love it. So it adds a bunch of new ways to customize cars. You also get a fourth purchasable property. New clothes, new hairstyles, new accessories, some extra missions. If you watch the preview here for this expansion, it seems to heavily feature Lamar Davis, who was very popular. I like it. There's tons of people who just really like Lamar.
I hated Lamar.
You hated Lamar?
So badly. Like, I hated him.
Really didn't like him?
I just hated everything about him.
Okay. Well,
it's obnoxious.
Maybe you're not going to be into this update then.
Maybe not.
But yeah, deck out your engine block with covers and air filters. Coat your interiors with velour, leather, and patterns. Velour. You have to say it like what's his face on The Simpsons? Who's the dude? Dang it. I'll remember it later. Choose custom colors and designs for your dials. Add new steering wheel and custom shift levers. Give your ride a lift with hydraulics. The more powerful bumps, the higher you can bounce. Okay. Meet up your friends and fellow car enthusiasts to show off your new ride. Use the player interaction menu while inside or outside the car to open up vehicle doors, hood, and trunk.
Oh.
That's fancy. Switch to the engine to flash your neons and bump your favorite radio station.
Now, can you only apply this to the lowrider vehicles? Or can you do these things with any car in the game now?
Yes. Thank you, Antilogy25. I was thinking of Futurama, Zap Brannigan, not Simpsons. But they both use the same animation style, so forgive me.
You can always count on Chad
to Zap Brannigan.
QUN.
Velour, because that's what his outfit's made of, and he wants people to touch it. Anyway, okay. I did a Futurama reference, and I didn't even realize it. Okay, that's all for tech news.
Sweet.
Yay for tech news. Let's move on.
So was that free, by the way?
What? Of course it's free. It's free. Because Rockstar knows how to do downloadable content. Mm-hmm. They give it out for free. And then if you want to buy Rockstar money, then you can buy in-game money if you want to. but you get it for free.
Pay to have fun.
Okay. Pay to thrive. What's going on? What is going on? What's my next segment? My next segment is Sword Fight.
It's Sword Fight.
Oh. Kyle's taking advantage of our microphones.
Sword Fight. It's fun. I told Paul that we should whisper an entire episode one of these days.
We might. We'll get the mics right down close to our face. We'll just be like, hey, Paul. Right now mine's like too far away.
So our next segment is Sword Fight.
Everyone.
Okay, you go first, Paul.
Freaking people out now. Okay, Sword Fight is the segment where Kyle and I both take opposite sides of a controversial topic and we argue it. And we also allow you guys to join in by letting us know what you think about that topic via a straw poll. So, not to spend too much time at the introduction, but let's jump right into it. Nvidia Game Ready drivers to require GeForce experience to install. We already discussed this on Kyle's half of the show. I already expressed my disdain for it. Now, okay. Let's start.
Is there really anything to argue here?
No. I'm posting the link in chat right now if you guys want to jump over to the straw poll and argue and start giving us your feedback. But I didn't want to argue like, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Because I think most people would think that it's stupid and sucks. At least that's what I think. So instead of asking any of that, I'm asking the question of what can we do about it? Like, is there anything we can do about Nvidia's dick? No, Nvidia's dick move. What? Why are you reading that out of context?
Sorry.
What can we do about Nvidia's dick move to lock drivers behind GeForce Experience registration? Can we do anything? Is there anything that the public can affect?
Nothing.
So my answers here are we should all just switch to AMD, of course. Nothing. Nvidia they've really got our balls in a vice. So that's so painful, having our balls in a vice. Or I put a third one, which is everyone just wait for that new console Nintendo's working on.
Hey.
Because you always got to have a way out.
Yep. Screw it. I'm saying screw PC games. I'm going console and I'm going Nintendo. The best one of all. I mean, screw graphics. Who needs graphics? An option.
All right, so we'll leave the third one for anyone who wants to vote on that. And what do you think, Kyle? You want to switch to AMD or like there's nothing we can do? You want to take the hopeless? You want to argue the It's always fun to argue that everything is shit and nothing can be done.
Yeah.
Or you can say we should switch to AMD.
I'm gonna say that we should switch to AMD.
Okay. You want to start it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll drink my bourbon.
You should do that. Get nice and liquored up because you're about to get decimated here. AMD.
It'll ease the pain.
AMD. I mean, they're just better in every way possible. Can I vote? Can I vote on?
Sure.
I don't want to look at the results yet. All right, so you should go with AMD because, for one, they're just a cooler company all around. Like, if you went to a party, there'd be like little cliques. You know, there's like little groups of people that hang out at parties. There'd be like the Nvidia group. There'd be like the Nvidia group who'd be like kind of like the preppy kids, like the cool kids, but they wouldn't like let you into their group unless you like brought them a beer or something, and they would like try to like own the party like it was their party, and you know everything would be proprietary somehow. I don't know how you work that into a party. But anyway, the AMD kids would be like maybe not as cool, maybe not as popular, but still very more inviting. Their monitors would be cheaper, their monitor technology, because you know FreeSync and stuff. So what I'm saying here is AMD I don't think is that bad as people say that they are. And I feel like Nvidia keeps shooting themselves in the foot with like every few months Nvidia does another thing that's stupid or shady or proprietary or all the above. And I feel like they keep getting away with it because people keep buying their cards. So maybe we should just maybe just go AMD, go Team Red for like a year or two. And then once Nvidia loses all their sales or majority of the market, then they might, you know, be humbled and come back with, you know, a more reasonable approach to their business model.
Are you done?
And bourbon.
Okay, that was.
I like bourbon.
Most of what you said there didn't make any sense.
Oh, it made perfect sense, Paul.
But nevertheless, I think you're wrong.
Oh.
All right, okay. So Basically, we're all screwed. We're all screwed in this situation. This is an example of why the free market is, requires competition in order to bring the most and the best out of companies. Because without competition, then you basically have companies doing whatever the heck they want. In this situation, you have Nvidia versus AMD. We're talking specifically about drivers here, so let's ignore AMD on the CPU side. Let's just specifically talk about GPUs. And Nvidia, it's there's no question about it. You can just look at the numbers. Nvidia has kind of a stranglehold on the market. They have a much larger share of the discrete GPU market. If people are buying graphics cards to game on, chances are they're buying an Nvidia graphics card and not an AMD. Nvidia has seen this, and they basically said, we have a mandate from the masses to do whatever the hell we goddamn please. So they're like, we don't have enough people on GeForce Experience. We need to harvest more emails so that we can send them emails to advertise them things. And we also need more people to use GeForce Experience so we can have stuff pop up for them to... I mean, GeForce Experience isn't that negative when it comes to, like, ads and that kind of thing. You know, it's supposed to be there to help you, but it's still there doing stuff in the background when you might not want it to. But this is the grave we've dug ourselves. We have no choice but to resign ourselves to forever doing whatever, or just accepting whatever the heck Nvidia wants to do. We'll swallow it, and we'll like it.
I still vote boycott.
Okay.
Well, let's see what you guys thought.
Let's see what you guys think. What can we do about this situation?
Wow.
Check out the results. Nothing. All right, I was wrong. It's doom and gloom. We're all screwed. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But you did have quite a few people, who did seem to say, just switch to AMD. Mm-hmm. That's hard. I mean, that's the thing that sucks about this is that if you bought an Nvidia graphics card 3 months ago or 6 months ago or a year ago, and you can only build a new system or buy a new graphics card every 3 years or something, and you don't like this decision, I don't know. If you're on the cusp of making a purchase, then then something like this can cause you to affect your decision of what you might purchase. And you might say, you know what? Like, look at Lenovo right now. I used to recommend Lenovo as a laptop to people all the time because I don't spend a lot of time with laptops, but it was always a solid recommendation. Now, because of stuff Lenovo's done recently, I would not recommend them.
Yeah.
But if you bought a Lenovo laptop 6 months ago before, this crap came out, then you're kind of stuck with that or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah.
I'm referring to Superfish and the other garbage that Lenovo has pulled recently, by the way. But, okay. Thanks to all of you guys for giving your feedback for the straw poll. Let's move on to one other sword fight question here. So the U.S. Actually, they sort of teased this last week, and then I believe, I think it was yesterday, maybe even the day before yesterday. No, it was yesterday. It was Monday. They have announced a task force aimed at mandatory drone registration. And we're not talking about that drone. We're talking about that drone.
No.
Yeah, so that's a government drone.
Boo.
That shoots missiles and kills lots of people. This is a small drone that flies in the path of a 747 and kills lots of people.
That an 11-year-old's flying.
Yeah, 11-year-olds are flying or something like that. Oh, look at that. That's a cool picture, actually.
So, what's the deal? Every single drone, or just certain drones that are owned by certain people, or that are doing certain things, or is it like you buy a $20 drone that can go 1,000 feet in the air, you gotta register it?
So what this is talking about is small rogue drones weighing less than 55 pounds.
Oh.
These have been an increasing concern among safety regulators for years. Specifically when it comes to U.S. airports and flying drones near U.S. airports.
Right.
And there's something to be said there because a tiny drone that gets sucked into a jet intake could cause a pretty major problem.
Yeah.
In fact, we talked about this a little bit when there were a bunch of fires here over the summer in Southern California. And they were trying to do the airdrops for the fire retardants to help fight the fire. And they couldn't because people were flying their drones up to try to get pictures of the fire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, the question we're going to ask or argue or answer right now is this one right here. I should also be posting this in chat, which is, should you be required to register your drone? This is at a federal level. This is the U.S. government. And
I vote for the last option.
And this task force, why can't I say the task force?
Task fork.
This task fork they've been tasked with. It's such a difficult word to say. Tasked with. All right, I'm coming up with a solution for this by basically requiring mandatory drone registration. If you buy a drone and you live in the U.S., you have to register it.
Right.
That way, if you fly it into something and cause damage, I guess then they immediately know who is at fault.
Right.
So Kyle, which side of this do you want to take? Options are. What are the options? Yes, drones are dangerous, especially in the hands of humans. No, it won't help, and I don't like filling out paperwork. Or the third answer, which is what if the drone has a gun attached, and that's as close as I'm going to get to comparing this to gun laws, because that's just a can of worms that I don't want to dive into right now. Right. Okay. Should you be required to register your drone?
I'm going to go with the obvious and correct no. It won't help, and I don't like filling out paperwork.
Okay.
Mainly because, just like any other thing that the U.S. government tries to regulate, and you know, there's just a bunch of examples of this, like gun control, right? I mean, you have to be in a lot of states. You have to actually register for a gun, have that gun tied to you or whatever, and that doesn't really stop or keep anyone from getting killed or hurt. If someone wanted to fly a drone into a plane,
just to interrupt here, the parallel I mean, there's an obvious parallel here. There is no federal gun registration laws. Nothing like that exists in the U.S.
There isn't?
No.
But this would be federal. This
would be a federally mandated register your drone thing. So this is this.
Isn't there a state regulated?
It depends on your state.
That's what I mean. In some states, you have to actually have to register your gun, don't you?
Yes. Well, okay. This is the. All right. I didn't want to make this one about guns, but I'm using that metaphor to argue my point. This would be a more strict control when it comes to actual registration of something. If you're comparing guns to drones,
right?
Than the current federal gun laws in the United States.
Right, but I'm comparing these some state laws of guns to this federal regulation of drones, because there are some parallels between those two things.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, if you try to regulate anything, there will still be a group of people that go out of their way to do whatever they want, to bypass those laws.
Okay.
And even if, I mean, who's to say that they're not registering it under a false name or a false identity? And then you have some people getting in trouble because someone has committed drone registry fraud. Like if I, registered your name and identity to a drone and I flew it into a plane and killed 200 people, then that's not very good for you. And there will be, it doesn't matter how tight of a grip, the government has on things like this. Something's always going to slip through the cracks. So this really just costs more tax dollars or more energy and effort and time, and creates more problems really than it solves.
Okay.
Yes. And that's why you're wrong.
If I were agreeing with Kyle, I would say, why do we even have laws against killing people? Because people are going to break those laws anyway. But rather than pointing out his logical fallacy, what I will actually do is argue the opposite, which is that, yes, drones are dangerous, especially in the hands of humans. I think what this comes down to is something called accountability and people being accountable for their actions. If you look at stuff like how people act when they're online, for example, and there's been lots of arguments, philosophical and otherwise, about this, that ever since the advent of being online, that people have been able to register and use pseudonyms or that kind of thing. Google, for example, for quite a while tried to really encourage people to use their real names, because what they found in lots of studies is that when you're forced to use your real name and identify yourself as who you are, that guess what? You're not an asshole to people anymore. Or you don't feel comfortable going out and being a troll and randomly throwing hate at people and that kind of thing. And that's because you're accountable. Because you now know that if I go out and say, hey, you whatever hateful thing I want to say to this person or this group of people or whatever you want to say, that cannot be directly attributed to me. This is the same thing that they're trying to do with these laws when it comes to drones, which is basically saying, hey, for all of us who might say, look at those jerks who were, flying their drones near the fires in Southern California and preventing people from, preventing the planes from going in there and firefighting and everything. Well, there's a small percentage of people who are in that situation at the moment who might say, hey, I can get some cool footage here and upload a YouTube video and get a bunch of hits or something like that, which is probably what's on your mind, and you might not even consider the other possible ramifications. My point here is, though, you would definitely think twice about doing something like that if you knew immediately that your drone was registered to you and that via whatever means of identification, anything you did with your drone as an extension of yourself was no longer anonymous. But we're arguing sword fight, which means I was taking a side for that. I think there's definitely more nuanced arguments when it comes to that, but as always, let's see what you guys think about the drones. I'm actually pretty curious about this one. No, it won't help, and I don't like filling out paperwork. So people are definitely against this.
I could have just argued against paperwork, and I would have won.
That's true. I would say when it comes down to it, I would be against this too. I don't think drones should be registered. They're, like it said, definitely when it comes to a certain size, like it needs to be.
Yeah. Because then you can.
Really, looking at the video that we showed earlier of the dude flying around on the hoverboard drone or whatever. I mean, it's not a drone. Vehicle. It's a manned vehicle. It's not an UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, is what this actually was referring to. But yeah.
UAV online.
Anyway, very interesting. I'll be curious to see how that goes. I don't own a drone right now, but I don't know. Making it more difficult for people to get them, or just more of a pain in the ass because you have to register it or whatever.
Or if you had to have like a drone license,
it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
Get drone insurance.
All right. Next up, it is time for our sponsor spots. That's right.
Yes.
Our live show is sponsored by Gigabyte, and we say a huge thank you to Gigabyte for sponsoring our show.
Yes, as always.
We explain to them what we do on our show and all the drinking and stuff that goes on, and they still wanted to sponsor us, so
they're cool.
We said okay.
They're cool like that.
And we said, hey, Gigabyte, if you want to sponsor us, how about you send us some of the products that you have, and we will show them to people on the channel.
Yep.
On the show, and that's pretty much how it's gone. So today we're taking a look at this motherboard right here. Let me get the webcam going. All right, so we got a top-down view here. This is the H170N-Wi-Fi motherboard from Gigabyte, and this is actually a board that I will be doing a build with fairly soon. I think in the next week and a half.
Give us some teasers, Paul. Are you building it for yourself or for
this build is actually going to be for my brother-in-law Jason.
Nice.
My sister's husband. And he has been wanting to build a new system for quite some time, and he has a Rosewell case already. I'll try to get this closer.
What's he going to be doing with the system?
It's not going to be a gaming system, although I might still like throw in a last minute graphics card in there. Right now it's not going to have a GPU, but it's going to have a 6400, the i5 6400 processor, which is a quad core, which goes for about $170, $180.
Nice.
And it's going to go right in there. This is an H170 board, which means it's not going to be good for overclocking. You can do like a tiny little bit of overclocking with it, but if you're going for one of the K SKU unlock processors, like a 6700K or 6600K, probably not the best board for you. However, this board can be had for about $110 to $120, depending on where you buy it at.
Trying to figure camera out autofocus.
It's not on autofocus.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah, I can barely focus like a little bit. I could get like really close, but then I'd have to get the board like up here for it to be focus.
Oh, okay.
I think. Wait, where'd that go?
Anyway, you guys know what a motherboard looks like. Use your imaginations.
Look at that. Anyway, this board has lots of cool features though, and as long as you don't need to overclock your unlocked processor, it's got lots of cool stuff. All the features you like, and I want to point out that it's got an M.2 on the back right there as well.
That's nice.
Snaked in there. So for just a little bit more than $100, H170N Wi-Fi, and it's also got that integrated Wi-Fi. You can see the little Wi-Fi card right there. And that's nice to have that
Someone's
on there,
asking
too.
if it's got Intel NICs. I believe it does. Yeah?
I think it does. That's a good question, though.
I think...
It'd be on the box. Where'd the box go?
Let me check.
Here, let's...
Dual Intel Gigabit Ethernet LAN, yes.
Yes. Two Intel NICs
Dose.
on there. And actually the Wi-Fi, what is the Wi-Fi? I can't read.
It's AC probably?
Yeah, it's 802.11ac, I think. Display, memory, SATA, LAN.
LAN.
Wait.
No, doesn't say. Doesn't list the Wi-Fi. Oh yeah. 802.11ac.
802.11ac. Yes. So we got the Wi-Fi in there too. And all just like black. Pretty much black.
Yeah.
Motherboard.
How many SATA ports? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you got 6 SATA ports, and 2 of those are SATA, 4 of those can be plugged in with SATA Express. Kind of nice too. And and it's got USB Type-C, 3.1 Type-C, I believe.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
What Roswell case is he using for that? Mini
it's
ITX?
like it's not one that you can get anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forget where he got it, but like he's like, I have this case. So I was like, okay.
Is it the?
It's one of the taller. It's one of the taller.
Neutron.
Mini ITX ones. It's not the Neutron though. That's probably the newer one.
Just one of these.
It's not for sale anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you probably won't find it on there. Anyway, okay.
Cool. Thank you, Gigabyte.
Thank you, Gigabyte, for sponsoring us. Oh, you know what? One other thing we need to say.
What?
This right here. We forgot to say this on your half of the show. One other thing for our sponsor, guys. Gigabyte has a feedback program that they have started up. So if you go to review.gigabyte.us, you can review a Gigabyte product, and you submit your review, and that enters you for a chance to win a Gigabyte Bricks Ultra Compact PC. So do that if you have a Gigabyte product and you want to review it. If you're going to review it anyway, then do this, and that just gives you the bonus. Again, review.gigabyte.us.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sweet.
Let's move on. What's next? I don't know what's next.
Tales from space.com.
I don't know if I should remove the .com because they're becoming less and less from actual space.com. But all right, if you guys are following me on Twitter, then you might already know that what I'm about to talk about because I already tweeted about it earlier this week, and that is
previews.
That astronomers may have found giant alien megastructures.
I
orbiting.
Happened to catch this on Twitter, I think.
Orbiting a star near the Milky Way. This is amazing. This is amazing and fantastic.
Aliens confirmed. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Look at these space pictures.
Damn.
Which don't show up.
Well, that's
what
proof
a terrible
I've ever
website.
seen it.
All right. So astronomers may have found giant alien megastructures. What are alien megastructures, and why do astronomers think that they found them? Okay, so Jason Wright is an astronomer from Penn State University, and he is the one who published an article specifically about a star. It's not in the Milky Way, but it's just above the Milky Way. It's about 1,400 light years away. It is between the constellations Cygnus and Lyra. And the star's name is KIC 8462852.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yes, but the scientists have renamed it or given it the loving nickname WTF-001.
Oh, that's easier.
WTF stands for what? The flux.
Does it really?
Yes, it does. It makes perfect sense.
Scientists are getting hip these days.
Scientists are great at naming things exactly what they are, and I kind of like it sometimes. But then they make it an acronym so it sounds cooler.
I love how it's 001, like it's the first WTF.
Yeah, because it's the first WTF. What the flux? So, all right, the way that a telescope in space, and the Kepler telescope is one that's specifically made for planet hunting, the way that they figure out if there's a planet with a star is that the star dims every so often, because as the planet's rotating the star, planet moves between the star and our point of perspective, and then you get a bit of reduction in the light. That's called flux, or the amount of fluctuation of the amount of light coming out. And this star was actually identified back in 2009 as a candidate for having Earth-like planets, or orbiting Earth-like planets. Now, this new stuff that they've been talking about is okay. I'll give you guys give
us the rundown.
The appropriate thing, which is that this is really, really, really probably not true. It's probably not what's happening. This is, according to the article and according to scientists who do their job right, this is like the very last thing that you might consider as a possibility. But it is a possibility.
Okay.
And for me, much like when you get on a plane and you have to turn off all your electronics devices, chances are your electronics devices aren't going to mess with the plane's flight or guidance systems or anything like that.
They busted that on Mythbusters.
But on the very, 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 very small chance that it does,
you do it.
Better safe than sorry. So on the very, very small chance that there is something orbiting this star that is not naturally occurring, then that's definitely something we should take a closer look at. So,
do you wish? Yeah. Are you hoping that they're alien megastructures?
Yeah.
You are.
Why not?
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
because some people get freaked out about it. Like they don't like the idea of aliens. They're like, no, I want us to be the only ones.
Like, I don't know.
They'll come to us. I've seen Independence Day. I know how it ends.
Yeah, but I figure if they're out there, I mean, might as well meet them sooner rather than later, because they're probably if they really are that advanced, they're probably gonna find us before we find them.
True.
Anyway, okay,
except encryption is holding that back.
except for encryption.
For us.
All right, so the light from this star dims like you would expect for a planet rotating it, but the light from this star dims in random patterns. It also dims much more. It dims as much as 20 or 22% of its light is blocked. Most planets orbiting a star, even large planets, only block maybe 1 or 2% of the planet's light. So it's huge. I mean, they already know, this is pretty much confirmed, there's something big orbiting the star that's blocking the light, and a much larger, much more of the light than you might expect.
That's eerie.
The other weird things about it is that it's irregularly shaped and aperiodic. The dips in the flux down below the 20% level. So, not what you would expect from a regular orbit of a planet or something like that. So, they have said that one of the possibilities here that is more likely than aliens, since we have never confirmed aliens to exist anywhere, would be a cluster of comets that's orbiting the star.
Okay.
Could dim the light from it in irregular intervals, and could dim more sometimes and less at other times.
Right.
Or it could just be alien megastructures. So we'll go with that. Now, what they're talking about here is something called the Kardashev scale. Are you familiar with the Kardashev scale?
That sounds too closely to other thing I don't like.
What? Oh, like the Kardashian scale?
Yes.
It's
even auto-correcting you. It's even auto-correct. Did you mean?
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're right.
It's sad that comes up.
I spelled
Kardashev.
I spelled Kardashev with a KH, which is sad.
And still trying to correct you.
The Kardashev
what
scale.
What is it, Paul?
Is a scale made up in 1964 by this dude Kardashev. What's his first name? Nikolai Kardashev. Which is a scale for identifying civilizations and their advancement. So Type 1 civilization is where we're at right now.
Right.
Or technological level close to the level presented on Earth. It's a scale that's based on energy consumption. Okay. So the amount of energy we're consuming is currently a fraction of the amount of energy produced by our sun.
Right.
Kardashev scale Type 2 would be like if we grew up to the point where we could harness all of the energy from our sun, that would put us at Type 2.
I see.
And then I think that actually goes up beyond that. The entire radiation output of its star. And then a Type 3 civilization would be able to possess or utilize the energy on the scale of its own galaxy, which is obviously far beyond that.
Right.
But even just being able to harness all of the power from just your star that you live on,
right,
or near, it's pretty impressive, and there's different ways that you might do this. One of them would be a Dyson sphere. And a Dyson sphere is like a large sphere, and this is a bad picture of one here, but you put the star in the middle, you build a bunch of structures around it, you get through solar panels or whatever, you harness the energy coming off of that star. So this is why they think there might be alien megastructures surrounding the star, is because it's not outside the realm of possibility for that to be what. That's what they're saying, is that what is the?
It's a lot of wishful thinking too.
This is the quote they keep coming back to. A large cluster of objects in space looks like something you would expect an alien civilization to build. That you might expect. Yeah. Anyway.
Saw that coming, guys.
So I'm excited.
Aliens are so predictable.
Upshot of all of this is that they're going to be focusing a little bit more attention on this star. I don't know if there's anything further that we can derive from this. But hey, kind of exciting.
Yeah.
But even if they launched right now, if we could get in a spaceship right now and head towards that star at the speed of light, it would take 1,400 years.
Wow.
Crazy. Anyway.
Wow.
All right.
Let's hope the aliens are very advanced.
A little bit more on Tales from Space. Oh wait, that's the wrong article. This one. Russia and Europe are going to launch a joint mission to the dark side of the moon, and then they're going to build a base there.
How poetic.
Yes. So Pink Floyd, I'm sure, will be suing because they own the rights to the dark side of the moon. Okay. So this is the European Space Agency, or the ESA, and Russia working together, coordinating. They're planning an exploration mission in 2020. There's a picture of the moon for anyone who's never seen it.
Needed some filler there.
This is an early blueprint for the lander. It's called the Luna 27. So this was announced by Russia's space agency, which is Roscosmos, in November. Luna 27 is a robotic lander that will land on the South Pole, or the Aitken Basin, which is a giant crater on the dark side of the moon, and it will prospect it for resources that could be utilized by future moon dwellers.
Okay.
You can go be a moon miner. It'd be like the gold rush of the 21st century.
And then once you hit 18, you're no longer a moon miner, correct?
That's clever, Kyle.
Had to combat your
very clever
joke. Sorry.
Russia, in the meantime, is planning to land a manned expedition on the moon by 2030. And then the ESA is expected to supply Pilot, which is a landing system that uses laser guidance and a set of sophisticated cameras to pick the best spot for exploration, and a revolutionary drill that will burrow 2 meters under the surface to make a nest.
What are they mining
more
exactly?
Drill babies. Moon
dust?
Moon dust, moon metal.
Might have said in chat.
Mithril.
Mithril.
Yes.
Sounds very.
Unless they delve too greedily and too deep. Excuse me.
That's what she said.
The Europeans are also going to construct an onboard lab that can immediately analyze the samples that they gather.
Okay.
Part of the reason for going to the South Pole of the moon is because there's more of a chance, because it's really cold there. So you might have crystallized water, and you can use that to make fuel. Anyway.
Makes sense.
All right, one last story here for Tales from Space, and this story is actually not in space, but it's got the NASA vibe to it, so I thought I'd plop it in here. 3D printing has been used. It wasn't all 3D printed, but it was used as part of the process to make the first real handheld railgun.
What?
Yeah.
That's a Nerf gun. That's an oversized Nerf gun, isn't it?
No. This fires plasma projectiles at 560 miles per hour, and there's the dude being like, "This is my railgun." So these are some of the projectiles that it can fire.
So what is a railgun, Paul? For those of us who haven't played many video games.
Okay, let me find it from the article here, so I know I'm speaking words that make sense. I don't.
I mean,
using a combination of 3D printing and widely available components, man built a functional handheld railgun that houses 6 capacitors and delivers more than 3,000 kilojoules of energy per shot. What does it shoot? He's used metal rods made of graphite, aluminum, and copper-coated tungsten, like the ones you can see right there. It can also fire carbon projectiles and Teflon plasma rods, so a plasma gun. Plasma is a state of matter, by the way.
Here it says the EM railgun launcher is a long-range weapon that fires projectiles using electricity instead of chemical propellants.
Yes, it uses electricity to propel the projectile. Now, there's 2 videos here, and unfortunately these videos are... Like, it happens... That was it right there. Did you see it? This is how fast... That's it. That's the shot firing.
What?
It's so fast, it's like instantaneous. So he really needs like the
super slow-mo guys.
Yeah, he needs the slow-mo guys or something to jump in here to see what's... Because that's it. That's even slowed down. So...
240 FPS.
Yeah, so it doesn't look all that impressive, but there's like a kind of a schematic of the gun itself.
And what kind of damage does this do? I mean, one shot of that...
Well, if you got a headshot, it would kill you instantaneously, but it depends whether you have quad damage or not as well, and how many shields you have.
Ah, of course. Of course.
Anyway. All right.
Attack multiplier. Sweet.
That's all for my scheduled contents.
Okay.
But we have a few more minutes here. So, guys, we're going to do some Q&A.
Oh, snap.
And if you have questions, then ask them in the Twitch chat or maybe send us tweets. Although I haven't been watching my tweets very closely. I saw a tweet earlier. I should sell body pillows of myself. Cell said I should sell body pillows of myself.
Because the one he's got of me is getting old.
Apparently,
it's a little worn out.
I could do that.
Missing some parts.
That I do. Okay. What? Double of 0 is still 0? I don't know what's going.
Someone said you promised double the nudity and didn't deliver.
My wife tweeted, "One swallow doesn't make a summer."
Words from the wise.
If you guys want to follow my wife on Twitter, she's Mrs. Paul Hardware.
That's right.
And mostly she tweets
very
sometimes vaguely suggestive, sometimes just really blatantly suggestive stuff.
Not suggestive.
That's her specialty.
Yeah.
But anyway, you can tweet us stuff. How am I? I am sore. I am freaking sore. I spent the past 2.5 days building a part of a fence and a gate on the side of the house over here, and it went really well. I showed Kyle earlier. It's all functional.
It sounds so simple when you say it, like, oh, I made a gate, but then like in practice, it actually is a lot of work to build it and to plan the whole thing out.
Yeah,
get the parts for
it was a lot of work, but I'm glad that's one of those projects that I've been meaning to do for the past 2 years and have finally done. But yeah. Any Node 202 builds? Do you have any Node 202 builds planned?
I actually do. I'm supposed to hit up Fractal Josh. I should have hit him up like a month ago. But when I built my dad's computer, like, because I built him a new computer like 2 months ago, I actually gutted out my wife's computer and used some parts there because she wasn't using her system much of the time. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. But now she misses it. She misses her computer that I initially gave to her for like Christmas years ago, and then I took it away from her for my dad's build. So now she wants a build, and I was like, okay, she's very picky with like what case she wants, but she likes the Node 202, and I gave that to my dad too. Pretty much everything that my wife should have gotten, I gave to my dad. So I'm gonna ask Josh, hopefully, if he can provide, assuming he can provide another case, I might do a build in there, maybe for some light gaming stuff, mostly for browsing the web.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. What? PSU fan, up or down? Depends
if there's a filter at the bottom of your case.
Yep. That's from Noel Farron, by the way. Yeah, I almost always go down. Up is really only situational.
Yeah. What else?
Alex Maunu asks, what happened to the Paul's Hardware bong? Did we have a bong?
What?
Did we ever? I don't think we ever had a bong.
Why would we have a bong? We don't smoke.
I don't know. Maybe it was because you were talking about growing weed earlier in the show.
Oh, maybe.
Nope. That has not been a thing, so I don't know where that.
I'm still in the process of making it. What? Can you overclock a monitor currently past 144 hertz?
Yes, you
think
can.
You can, but that doesn't mean it's going to perform well.
Yeah, will it work?
Yeah,
is the question.
I think is it Asus? I think it's Asus who's coming out with a monitor that's going to be overclockable to 165 hertz.
Yeah, I've seen a few go beyond 144, but it seems like 144 is kind of like from the current menu, for the stuff that they're currently able to mass produce. 144 seems to be like the fastest those monitors will go, and probably the fastest that they've found that people see a good benefit from it or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you guys gonna do a performance per dollar build that doesn't take 4 weeks like LTT?
I don't know.
What's a performance per dollar build?
It just means it's like bang for the buck.
Oh, okay. Just like most build videos that we do. I don't know. I might do one soon. Who knows? What's your favorite color?
What's the airspeed velocity of an in-flight swallow?
3.
Good. Are we doing an after show?
Yes.
Yes, we are. Kyle's gonna go home though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Kyle's gonna go home. So yeah. But yeah, we'll kick that off. The after shows we're gonna each stream individually then. So the after party is on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/PaulsHardware, or Kyle's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/AwesomeSauceNews.
Yeah. B Brewer 9.
No, Awesome Sauce Network.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
B Brewer, I almost didn't catch that. B Brewer 9 asks, do you guys only review things that are sent to you for free? No, that's not the case for me. I'm pretty sure it's for Paul too. Ideally, I'd like to have everything sent to me for free so that I don't have to like have that as part of my overhead for the channel. It helps when I can just ask a vendor for a product and they send it to me. It works out. But if there's something I really want to review and it's not too expensive, or even sometimes if it's a really good product and I need it anyway, I'll just go ahead and buy that product myself so that I can both use it and as well as just review it for the channel.
Yes.
And I don't think I've ever like bought anything just to review and RMA'd it or like send it back for a refund. I don't think I've done that yet.
I've done that once or twice, but
I don't think I've. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. If there's a product I know I want to try, or that I have a specific need of, actually, this motherboard's a good example. This motherboard I found in research because I was like, this was after my brother-in-law had contacted me and be like, I want to build a system, and I was like, okay. And he said, I have some parts already. And I was like, all right. And he told me the case. I was like, all right, we need a mini ITX motherboard. I wanted him to get on the new Intel platform on Skylake. And so I started looking at motherboards. I found this one. I was like, oh, that's got a really nice feature set and a pretty decent price. So then I contacted Gigabyte and said, hey, here's what I have planned for this, the videos I'm going to be doing. And then they were willing to send that over to me. So nice. That's kind of how that goes. Of course, we do also get manufacturers who are like, hey, we have this product, we want to send it to you. I usually will, like, I don't immediately say yes to that when people hit me up. In fact, I've been finding myself, especially recently, saying no the vast majority of the time. But often I'll look up the product, or if they have information on that they can send to me about it. Like, I want to look at the product first because I don't want to waste my time on garbage, basically. Yeah. I don't want to get a product sent my way that I look at and like this is. I'm either going to have to say this is terrible, which, granted, I could do a video and say this is terrible, but I feel like that's, like, if it's not a popular product already, and I'm like, hey, people, you maybe thought this was a good product, but it's actually bad, then, you know.
Seems like a waste of everyone's
time.
Yeah,
it just seems like more of a waste of time, so, yeah. Anyway.
I agree.
That's some of the thought process.
Manic Geek asks, hey, how have your guys' water-cooled rigs been holding up so far? Any issues pop up? Any regrets or upcoming changes? As far as Hotline's concerned, my custom water-cooled rig, no regrets so far. Everything is pretty much working solid. No leaks, thank God. Knock on wood. Perfect. All this.
It was nice
beautiful
to have all that wood. Yeah, readily available.
Any upcoming changes? No, none as of yet. I was considering maybe mounting like another exhaust fan at the back of my case just to make it more neutral pressure instead of negative pressure right now. Oh, yeah. Even though that's been proven not to be too much of an issue for my case. But I've got like a little LED strip that's I've actually zip tied to the fan holes, the fan ventilation on the rear. Mm-hmm. So it's actually blocking where the fan would go. I wouldn't be able to have both. So if I actually put the rear exhaust in, I'd have to take out the LED strip because there's clearance issues there. And you know it's a showpiece, so I'm going for aesthetics here. Other things that I might need to change though, any issues? The pump needs to be tightened to the reservoir on the Define S because it's rattling a little bit. So I just haven't done that yet because to Define S I've got 3 full hard drives right behind that wall, I need to remove one of them and then tighten it and then replace the hard drive. Not a huge issue, but
and when you do get around to that, and this is a suggestion from Lee, all the way back to when we did the water cooling do's and don'ts at Newegg.
Yeah.
Just take all of your fittings and give them a little turn. See if any of them started to loosen up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Personally, Arctic Panther's right there behind me. I haven't had any major issues or anything like that. Last week when I was trying to do, or no, was it 2 weeks ago? I forget. I was trying to game on him and he wouldn't start up. I was like, what the hell? But then the next day everything was fine. So I don't know. That was my only issue with it.
Right.
Okay. We should wrap up the show. I wanted to answer one last question, which is from Larry Bennert on Twitter, asking if my Lieutenant Data picture back there is autographed. No, it's not. Although I did get that directly from Brent Spiner at a Star Trek. I almost said Star Wars. At a Star Trek convention. We do have a Geordie LaForge action figure in there that was signed by LeVar Burton, though.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, okay, that's all for today's show. Awesome Hardware. Thank you all for watching. Like button if you're watching this on YouTube. Subscribe to our channels. If you're watching live and you want to catch our after parties, follow us on Twitter. Twitter handles are down below, and that we'll be tweeting when we go live and stuff like that and what we're doing. But you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for watching the show. We really enjoy doing it. We'll be back at it again next week on Tuesday evening at Kyle's house. I'm going to the dentist that day.
On the next Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm going to the dentist before I go to your house.
So are you gonna be all like numbed up like Novocaine, like oh my god,
I'm not having any extractions done as far as I know, but that's who knows? Maybe I'll see if they can give me an extra dose of whatever they have there on hand.
That'd be awesome. Give me some.
That'll be awesome. All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you later.
See ya.
You know what I think I just did? I think we're still live.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think we're broadcasting to 2 channels right now.
This is why you watch us live.
We're now broadcasting to 2 channels.
Shit like this.